In today's fast-paced world, it feels like we're constantly juggling a million things, saying yes to everything just to keep up. But why do we feel so guilty when we consider saying no? Have you ever found yourself stretched too thin just to avoid disappointing someone else? It's a cycle we've all been caught in. And here's the thing, saying no is not just hard. It's necessary for protecting our time, our energy, and our happiness. The truth is, saying no isn't easy. We've all been there, feeling like we always have to be there, always say yes, always be there to help. But in doing so, we risk our health, our energy, and sometimes our happiness. The key to truly living an empowered life, where you control your own path, is learning to set boundaries. And one of the most important ways to do this is by saying no and, when necessary, walking away from situations that drain you. In this video, we will explore why walking away is not just about leaving a situation, but about reclaiming your time, your energy, and ultimately, your life. We'll talk about how you can start saying no without guilt, and how this small act of self-respect can lead to big changes in your life. Have you ever found yourself agreeing to something you didn't want to do just to avoid disappointing someone? Perhaps you've said yes to a friend's request for a favor, even though you knew it would leave you exhausted. Or maybe you've accepted a work task, even though you had no time for it, simply because you didn't want to let anyone down. We've all been there. It's a common pattern that many of us fall into, but why do we do this? The desire to please others often stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection. We're wired to seek approval and connection with others, and saying no can sometimes feel like a rejection of that connection. In our social world, we tend to measure our worth by how much we can help, how much we can give, and how much others depend on us. But here's the problem. When we constantly put the needs of others before our own, we lose sight of our own needs and desires. We begin to deplete ourselves physically and emotionally, and eventually we end up feeling burnt out and resentful. It's a toxic cycle that keeps us from living authentically. So the next time you feel that urge to say yes, just to avoid disappointing someone, pause and ask yourself, is this really something I want to do? Or am I just trying to please someone else at the expense of my own well-being? Learning to distinguish between genuine kindness and people-pleasing is the first step toward taking back control over your life. Saying no is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools we have for protecting our time, energy, and peace of mind. But for many of us, it's not so easy. We've been taught that saying no is rude, selfish, or inconsiderate. In fact, we often feel like we're being bad people when we turn someone down, even when it's necessary. But here's the truth. Saying no isn't just an act of self-protection, it's an act of self-respect. When you say no, you are communicating to yourself and to others that your needs, boundaries, and time are valuable. It's a way to protect your mental and emotional well-being, and it allows you to create the space to focus on the things that truly matter to you. The first time you say no, it may feel uncomfortable. You may even feel guilty or afraid of disappointing someone. But over time, you'll begin to realize that by setting clear boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also allowing others to see and respect your limits. In fact, learning to say no is one of the most compassionate things you can do, not only for yourself, but also for others. When you're honest about your limitations, you prevent overextending yourself and potentially burning out. This means you can show up more fully for the things that really matter and for the people who truly need you. So, next time someone asks you for something that doesn't align with your priorities or well-being, Don't be afraid to say no. It's a simple word, but it carries a profound power to shape your life on your own terms. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy is this: your worth doesn't come from likes, comments, or anyone else's approval. It comes from within you. It's so easy to get caught up in seeking validation, whether from social media, at work, or even from our loved ones. But real self-worth? It's about understanding that you define your value regardless of the external noise. True self-worth is not something others can give you. It is something you create for yourself. It's about recognizing your own value, regardless of how others perceive you or what external rewards you receive. The Stoics teach that we should focus on what we can control: our actions, our thoughts, our attitudes, rather than constantly seeking outside approval. When you place your self-worth in the hands of others, you surrender your power to external circumstances. But when you recognize your own intrinsic value, you become unshaken by the opinions or actions of others. This doesn't mean you should ignore feedback or constructive criticism. Instead, it means that your sense of worth should never be solely dependent on others' praise or judgment. The only validation that truly matters is your own. Building true self-worth requires inner work. It's about cultivating a mindset of self-compassion, being proud of your efforts, and focusing on progress, not perfection. When you focus on living in alignment with your values, acting with integrity, and striving to be your best self, you naturally begin to build a sense of self-worth that is strong, lasting, and independent of external factors. Start by practicing self-acceptance. Recognize that you are enough, just as you are, and that your worth is not tied to your achievements, your appearance, or how others see you. The more you internalize this, the more peaceful and confident you will feel in your own skin. In today's rush for more success, more recognition, more possessions, we often forget to pause and appreciate what we already have. But this simple practice of gratitude is transformative. The Stoics taught us that gratitude isn't just for the good moments, it's for everything. Yes, even the hard parts of life. By appreciating both the ups and downs, we build a resilience that helps us grow stronger. For the Stoics, gratitude is not about passively waiting for things to go right or only appreciating the good things in life. It's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation for everything, both the positive and the negative. This might sound strange, but Stoic philosophers believe that even hardship and suffering can be seen as opportunities for growth. When we practice gratitude, we train our minds to focus on what we have, rather than what we lack. We shift our attention away from desires and external circumstances, and we become more attuned to the blessings we already possess, be it our health, relationships, or simple moments of peace. This shift in focus brings a sense of contentment that doesn't depend on having more, but on appreciating what is already present. The act of being thankful can dramatically improve our mental and emotional well-being. It reduces stress, enhances resilience, and fosters a deep sense of satisfaction with life. When we adopt an attitude of gratitude, we actively choose to embrace the present moment. We stop chasing after future promises of happiness and realize that peace comes from acknowledging the beauty and value in our current circumstances. Moreover, gratitude strengthens our relationships with others. When we express our thanks, we nurture bonds of trust and affection. It helps us see others not as means to our own ends, but as human beings worthy of appreciation. By practicing gratitude, we develop empathy and deepen our connections with the people around us. Start small. At the end of each day, Take a few moments to reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. It could be as simple as a good meal, a kind word, or the warmth of a loved one's smile. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift in your mindset. Gratitude becomes not just an action, but a way of being, transforming the way you interact with yourself and the world. In our fast-pacing world, it's easy to get lost in thoughts about the future or past. We constantly replay our mistakes or dream of a better future, neglecting the only moment that truly matters, the present. This is where the practice of mindfulness comes in, a key element of Stoic philosophy that helps us return to the present moment and regain control over our thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness, or being fully present in each moment, is about accepting the reality of what is happening right now without judgment. It's about letting go of worries about what's next or what happened before. The Stoics teach us that the only thing we truly have control over is the present moment, and by focusing on it, we can live with clarity, peace, and purpose. When we're mindful, we stop reacting impulsively to our circumstances. Instead, we approach each moment with awareness, recognizing that we can choose how we respond. We realize that external events do not control us. Rather, it's our judgments and reactions that define our experience. By cultivating mindfulness, we stop being slaves to our automatic reactions and instead become more intentional in our actions. One way to practice mindfulness, according to the Stoics, is through self-reflection. Every day, take time to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Are you acting in accordance with your values? Are you responding with wisdom and calm? Or are you letting external situations dictate your mood and behavior? Regular self-reflection allows you to become more aware of your inner state, which, in turn, helps you become more present and conscious of how you navigate life. Another powerful Stoic practice is the idea of negative visualization, imagining the worst-case scenario in order to appreciate what you currently have. This isn't about dwelling on negativity, but rather about acknowledging the impermanence of life. By imagining the loss of something or someone we value, we remind ourselves to appreciate the present moment even more. When we do this, we become less attached to what we have and more aware of its fleeting nature. This, paradoxically, makes us more present and grateful. Mindfulness doesn't require special techniques or hours of meditation, though these can help. It's about bringing conscious awareness into everyday activities. When you're eating, focus on the taste and texture of your food. When you're walking, notice the sensations of each step. When we live with mindfulness, we experience the world more vividly, and we move through life with greater clarity and peace. We all face adversity, whether it's a personal loss, a career setback, or feeling betrayed by someone we trusted. But here's the Stoic truth. It's not the challenge that defines us, it's how we respond. You see, resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about meeting hardship with grace and learning from it. The Stoics knew this well. Instead of asking, "Why me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" Resilience is not about avoiding pain or difficulties. It is about facing them with courage, calmness, and wisdom. According to the Stoics, adversity is a part of life, and rather than fearing it, we should embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Every difficult moment can teach us something valuable if we choose to learn from it. The key to building resilience is to change the way we view difficulty. When something challenging happens, the natural instinct is often to complain, resist, or become angry. However, the Stoics advise us to adopt a mindset of acceptance. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" we can shift our question to, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this?" This shift in perspective doesn't mean we deny our emotions or suppress our pain. It simply means we choose to view challenges as opportunities for self-improvement. In the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By focusing on our responses rather than the circumstances, we take back control over our emotional state and mental well-being. Another important Stoic practice for building resilience is preparing for hardship in advance. This might sound counterintuitive, but the Stoics believed in anticipating challenges before they arrive. By mentally preparing ourselves for potential setbacks, we reduce their impact when they happen. This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, involves imagining worst-case scenarios and mentally rehearsing how we would respond. By doing this, we can face adversity with a calm mind, knowing we've already prepared ourselves to handle it. It's important to remember that building resilience is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice. It requires patience, self-awareness, and a willingness to grow through each challenge we face. Every setback is an opportunity to strengthen our inner character. Resilience is like a muscle that grows stronger the more we exercise it. Ultimately, the Stoics teach us that the greatest human strength is the ability to endure and persevere. Life may not always go the way we want it to, but by choosing to respond with courage, wisdom, and composure, we can face any obstacle with grace. In this way, we not only survive life's challenges, but we become stronger, wiser, and more resilient in the process. For the Stoics, the highest goal of life isn't wealth or fame. It's virtue. Living with wisdom, courage, and justice, these are the things that bring true fulfillment. The world will always try to distract us with its glittering promises of success or pleasure. But the Stoic way is different. It's about finding meaning in how we live, not in what we achieve or accumulate. Living with purpose means that we don't allow ourselves to be swept away by the chaotic currents of external circumstances. Rather, we cultivate a sense of intentionality in everything we do. In order to live a purposeful life, we need to know our values and align our actions with them. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." To live with purpose, we must recognize that time is finite and that every moment is an opportunity to live in accordance with our values. The question we should ask ourselves each day is not, "What can I get today?" but "How can I contribute to the world today? What is the most virtuous thing I can do in this moment?" To live virtuously, we must practice self-discipline. This means mastering our desires and impulses rather than being ruled by them. It requires us to act according to our higher reason, even when it is difficult. Stoics believed that the true measure of a person's character is not in how they behave when things are easy, but in how they respond when faced with temptation or adversity. Virtue, according to the Stoics, is not something we are born with. It is something we must cultivate through constant practice. For example, courage is the ability to face fear with calm and strength. Justice is the commitment to fairness and equality in all our dealings, and wisdom is the pursuit of truth, understanding, and the ability to make sound decisions. By striving to embody these virtues in our daily lives, we create a sense of purpose that aligns with our deepest values. It's also important to note that virtue is its own reward. Unlike the pursuit of external achievements or possessions, which can bring temporary satisfaction at best, living virtuously brings an enduring sense of peace and fulfillment. Virtue is not something we pursue for recognition or praise, but for the inner harmony it brings. As Epictetus wisely said, Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When we live with virtue, we are no longer dependent on external validation or success. Our sense of worth comes from within, from knowing that we are living in accordance with our highest ideals, and in doing so, we inspire others to live in a similar way, creating a ripple effect of purpose and virtue in the world. Living with purpose and virtue doesn't mean we will be immune to challenges or suffering, but it does mean that, regardless of the circumstances, we will always have a sense of direction and meaning in our lives. And that, the Stoics believed, is the true path to happiness. Stoicism is not just a philosophy for contemplation, it is a philosophy for living. While the Stoics offered profound insights into life, their teachings are meant to be put into practice every single day. The key to making Stoicism work in our lives is to integrate its principles into the way we think, act, and respond to challenges. This is where the true power of Stoicism lies, in its ability to help us navigate life's difficulties with grace, calm, and wisdom. One of the practical applications of Stoicism is to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. The Stoics emphasize the importance of differentiating between the things we have power over, our thoughts, attitudes, and actions, and the things that are outside our control, other people's actions, natural events, and outcomes. By focusing only on what we can control, we eliminate unnecessary stress and frustration. For example, instead of worrying about a work project that's not going well or the weather ruining your vacation plans, the Stoic approach is to ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? If you can control your reaction, your effort, or your attitude, that's where you should focus your energy. If you can't control it, then it's better to accept it and move on. By practicing this principle, you begin to see that much of the anxiety we experience comes from trying to control things that are not within our grasp. Another important aspect of Stoic practice is negative visualization, a technique in which we imagine the worst-case scenario to appreciate the things we have and reduce our fear of losing them. By mentally preparing ourselves for loss or hardship, we train ourselves to stay calm and composed when difficulties arise. Marcus Aurelius recommended this approach in his meditations, saying, "Think of the things you have seen. How many of them have passed? Think of the things you have yet to see. How many of them will pass too?" Through negative visualization, we come to understand that nothing in life is permanent. Relationships, possessions, health, and wealth, these things can all be taken away at any time. But by imagining and accepting their potential loss beforehand, we reduce our attachment and increase our ability to respond with serenity when life inevitably changes. Another key Stoic principle that we can apply in daily life is the idea of voluntary discomfort. This involves deliberately choosing to face uncomfortable situations or experiences in order to build mental strength and resilience. This could mean skipping a luxury or going without something you desire for a short time. For example, if you're used to eating your favorite dessert every night, try skipping it for a few days. Or, if you're used to a comfortable lifestyle, try intentionally living with less for a while. The Stoics believed that by choosing discomfort voluntarily, we learn to handle hardship more effectively when it comes unexpectedly. This builds mental toughness and prepares us to face challenges with greater equanimity. Lastly, daily reflection is a powerful Stoic tool. At the end of each day, the Stoics encouraged self-examination. This involves reviewing your actions, thoughts, and feelings from the day to assess whether you lived according to your principles. You might ask yourself questions like, Did I react with anger or patience? Did I act justly in my dealings with others? Did I maintain control over my desires? This practice of self-reflection helps us become more mindful of our behaviors and makes us more intentional in the future. By incorporating these Stoic practices into your daily routine, you will gradually find yourself more centered, more resilient, and more at peace. Whether you're facing challenges at work, dealing with personal issues, or simply navigating the ups and downs of life, Stoicism offers timeless tools to help you maintain your composure and stay aligned with your deepest values. So here is the question: will you let life's challenges define you, or will you rise above them? Stoicism offers us the tools to live well, not by avoiding hardship, but by facing it with strength, wisdom, and purpose. If you're ready to start living with intention, to embrace your true worth, and to face every challenge with resilience, then Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's a way of life. So take the first step. What will you say no to today in order to protect your peace of mind? As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In this video, we explore and learn about Stoicism, a philosophy of life that has been around for thousands of years, but is still very relevant and practical in today's life. By applying the principles of Stoicism, such as accepting what cannot be controlled, living with virtue and purpose, and training ourselves to face all challenges, we can live a more peaceful, happy, and meaningful life. As the Stoic sages said, it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. Let Stoicism guide you on this journey of life, helping you develop inner calm and happiness despite the storms of life.